Recording. All right. Hey guys, welcome to the show today. I am Coach Travis Robertson, and I am here with the amazing, the one and only Kunal Patel, who is one of our coaching members. And I've had the honor of getting to know Kunal over the years. We've now been working together, 5 years, I think, a little over?
Yeah,
somewhere around 5 years. Give or take. And so we're going to get into his whole story here in just a second. But one of the things I love about Kunal is we just have a blast. I've gotten to know him at our live events. He's been on stage for us. We've just become really good friends, and we connect up at events. We have dinner. We have drinks together. I mean, he's just one of the most amazing, giving, honest, humble people in this industry. And so Kunal, thank you so much for joining us here today.
Oh, no problem, man. Anything for you. It's actually an honor to just to hang out and chat, right? It's
well,
fun.
We were hanging out before the show, and I was like, we've got it. We're getting ready to go live here. We got to stop talking, but we could just talk forever. I mean, that's the truth. So never to lack for things to discuss, which you guys are going to find out. We're going to have a great time here today. So before we get into the kind of the content of the show, why don't you just tell everybody a little bit about yourself, Kunal? Who are you? Where are you from? What market you work? All that fun stuff.
Yeah, no worries. Okay, so I'm from the Gem City, Dayton, Ohio. I know most of you probably may not know that, or you do know where that place is. We're about an hour north of Cincinnati and about an hour west of the greatest university on this side of the earth, the Ohio State University, where I graduated.
See, I hate that y'all say the Ohio State. That just drives me insane. Drives me insane. I hate that. Anyway, so you're in Dayton, Ohio. From there originally, born and raised, or did you move there?
No, I was born in Pittsburgh. Family came here when I was about 6 years old, and then roots have been here since then. It's definitely a great city. It's hardworking. It's just kind of, there's a billion patents here. It's actually known for their patents. The Air Force Museum is right around the corner. We have one of the largest Air Force bases in the States here. So
that's awesome.
Pretty cool place.
That's awesome. And so you serve just the Dayton market. Is that correct?
Yeah, we go to the central Dayton market, but we do go down to Cincinnati and northern Kentucky.
Okay. I didn't realize you went, I guess, it's only an hour.
It's only, yeah. Well, yeah. Depending on your old California traffic, that'd be like a half a mile out, right?
Yeah. And now I got Florida traffic, which is like, whatever. We're just like going to the beach, having a great time. You can tell by my healthy tan.
True. I have that same tan.
Yeah, exactly. So, and you've got a team now, right?
Yeah, I do.
Tell everybody how many people on your team and how it's set up and structured, and then we'll get into all the numbers and kind of the growth of that as we go through here.
Yeah, no, I am blessed that I have, 6 people that actually think that I'm smart. It's awesome. I have a closing specialist and assistant. She's the, chief of getting to me if anyone needs to get to me. And then we have a creative director, Laura. And then those 2 admin, essentially, that's what they're considered. You would think that way. And then 3 sales agents. So each one of them mean the world to me, right? They allow me to have my weekends off.
Yeah, you've got a phenomenal team. I mean, you've done a great job putting that team in place, and we'll kind of talk about that as we go through here. But before we kind of get into where you're at today, I want to kind of go all the way back, because you've been in the business now for what, 6 years?
Yeah, 6 years.
And so we've been working together for a little over 5, somewhere around there. And I think you started in the program around month 9 or 10 or so in the business, like when you were in the business. So I want to kind of go back before that though, because when you got into the business, you got in, you were what, 31, I think when you got 30, 31 when you got in the business?
I was 31 because I wasn't able to be a 30 under 30.
That's right. You were so disappointed about that. Again. You're like, can I lie about my age so I can be 29 again? But so you were 31 years old and you got into the business, and you had kind of a unique situation because you didn't quit your job and go all in on real estate. You still had a full-time job. What were you doing?
Yeah. So I'm too scared to quit. Right.
We'll get to that. I'm going to tell the story. I got all in. I didn't get all in, but so I was working full time as a civilian on the Air Force Base here at Wright-Patterson.
had the opportunity right after my MBA to jump on there, and it was a blessing. So I was able to learn a lot, and then kind of understand what our military guys go through, and women. Then, I'm just basically a pencil pusher at that point, right? I kind of understand how budgets work. I was a business guy, right? They put a business guy teamed up with an engineer to show how that works. So it was cool. It was cool. And looking back on that, I was there for about 9 years. So.
Yeah. And so what caused you to want to get into real estate? Because here you have this job, how did real estate come into the play?
It was a joke, right? Like, it was one of those things where I'm like, a friend was trying to sell her house. Kelly, if you ever see her in our pictures, she's a little blonde girl. She was trying to sell her house, and the realtor just wasn't responding, wasn't like proactive. You have a showing, you don't talk. And we were going through furloughs at the time. The Congress couldn't get a bill passed, so I it takes 2 weeks in Ohio to get a license if you go to class full time, and took 2 weeks off of work, went to class full time, and then thankfully passed my test on the first time. And then from then on, that was that.
So, but it wasn't that was that. I mean, you got into real estate, but you didn't quit your job. You stayed in your role that first year, and you were part-time real estate.
Oh yeah. True. My bad. Yeah. Like
and I'm going to put part-time in quotes here, because we're going to talk about what part-time actually looks like in just a second.
Yeah. Part-time. Yeah. I was a part-time realtor. I always, people always joke about like, oh, well, he's just a part-time agent, or this person's a I'm like, dude, part-time can do better than some of you guys is full-time.
Yeah.
So I did real estate like part-time at night, and I did my real job during the day. It's weird. I still call it my real job. And then it was just kind of, now they don't just start working. I think that was just it was just the transition of it was, working during the day for a normal 9 to 5, and then going from 5 to 11 doing paperwork. At some point you're like, what's my why, and why am I doing this?
Yeah. And so that first year in business, because everybody gets into the business and they go into an office and they're surrounded by a bunch of agents who are pretty freaking miserable. I mean, let's be honest. A lot of them are like, your first year in business, you're lucky to sell 2 homes there, Kunal. And so you actually got lucky because you couldn't go into the office, because during the day you were at a 9 to 5 job. I mean, you had a real job, quote unquote, that prevented you from going into the office. So you avoided a lot of that talk. And so, your first year in business, I love this. Your first year in business, how many deals did you close? How many sides? Do you remember? I know.
You know them.
It's 50.
Yeah, I was like, I know it's enough.
It's 50. 50 units your first year in business, 50 sides. And you had the full-time job the whole year.
Yeah, it's I think I am a Coldwell Banker agent, right? And a lot of people are like, why are you with Coldwell or whatever? That's a whole other story. But it was the mindset of, hey, who's going to help me? Because doing 50 sides, it gets tedious, right? You're going to miss deadlines. You have checklists. You have there's a lot of plugs that I could say, like, I was thankful I met this person or that person. They taught me what to do. It got tiring. Yeah. Right. It caught up, and it was like, you didn't want to say no to a client calling you like, hey, I want to sell my house. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm too busy. I'm going to go play golf. Right. I'll take the check. So, but I also understood what they were going through. Right. Yeah. They tell you in real estate school that you're going to go, find the guy that's selling the most and follow him, or, and then you have that guy that's like, Kunal, I don't want you around me. Why are you here?
Yeah. The last thing they want is a clinger on. They're like, no, thanks.
No, exactly.
I've got to deal with my clients. The last thing I want you doing is like tagging along in my car.
Right. Yeah. And that's like, so, I go back to, I was blessed that I had an awesome office manager and another team member. Now he works with me. He's one of my team members, but I could go to him. He's been in the industry for that time, 10 years. And he was like, yeah, this is what you want to do on title insurance. This is how you're going to do this. Like, okay, thank you. Keep helping me. I'll take this knowledge. Yeah. So that was kind of where I started at,
And so that first year in business, because, you didn't know what you didn't know. I mean, you literally did not know how to fill out a contract, and yet you're getting clients, and then you're like, hey, can somebody help me fill out a contract? Right. You were very resourceful.
Yeah.
And you had to be, because you had a full-time job. It's not like you could just, take 6 hours and figure out how to fill out a contract. You're like, I got to get this done today. Like I got to get, I've got to write this offer today. It's got to be submitted. I don't have time to figure these things out. So you really leveraged other people as you were building this business.
Yeah, and that straight up, like, at that point it was, dot loop came out. And I'm like, I don't even know how to use a dot loop. Like what is this? Like,
what's a loop?
What's a loop, right? What's how do I fill this contract out? What's going on? And I was able to just ask Tim and then ask Kelly, like, hey, Kelly, could you fill this out? This is what we need. I mean, heck, I'll be the first one to tell you, I probably bought my fair share of refrigerators. I bought one. I'll never buy it again. But you learned, right? You learn from all those mishaps. And it taught me that, being a single person, that could be two ways, right? Being a single agent and trying to do the volume wasn't worth that hassle, right? At that point, it's like, how can I leverage other people is what you kind of hit on. But that's what I was able to do, starting then knowing that I needed to do that.
And that's really kind of what I wanted to talk about, because here you were having some success before you joined coaching, so you're 9 months into the business. And I think when you came, I think you were sitting at, 30 something deals, like high 30s, 40 something deals on the year, something around there. And so you're like, hey, it's my first year in the business and I don't really know what I'm doing. I mean, you were kind of in this, like, I'm burning out. I mean, what was that moment for you that, like, the oh crap moment where you're like, I gotta, like, this isn't working. I've got to figure something else out. What was that, like, that moment? Do you remember that moment?
Oh, I can tell you 100% that moment. I remember waking up in the middle of the night, like, looking at it, I'm like, why the heck? Like, I'll stop. I almost said bad words.
You can say bad words. It's fine. It's fine.
Well, I was like, why am I doing this to myself? I'm getting 4 hours of sleep. I'm hitting the gym. Like, I'm like not hitting the gym 100%. I'm hitting it at 70. What is this? Why am I doing this? And I was at a brokerage. I'm still at the same brokerage that teams were not adapting, right? It wasn't teams at that time. It was like single agents. And I'm like, I don't think the single agent really makes sense if you're trying to do the volume of business that you're being, because teams can be bigger than brokerage, it can be smaller, but this is 5 years ago, right? So
this is before it was like cool to do teams and people were still fighting them. I mean, I can't tell you how many people were like, I don't think teams are the future. I'm like, oh no, teams are the future. Trust me on this. And
we're gonna hit on it, I'm assuming, at some point. And I looked at the owner of our company. I'm like, look, if you really want me to thrive and you want me to do well, I don't need your guys' people. I need this guy over here. He understood the systems that needed to be in place, because at that time I didn't have an assistant. I had a buyer's agent.
Yep.
I was getting out of a partnership team, right? And you can there's only one CEO, and I found that out real fast.
Yep.
But those are all the mistakes and falls that I've had looking back on it. But pressing forward from that point, it allowed me to do these other things.
And so you kind of hit this point where you're like, I need help. I need other people to help me out. And you didn't have an office at the time that was pro team. They were really not pro team at that time. Mm-hmm. And they were not that they weren't supportive of you. They were very supportive of you and he wanted you to win, but it was kind of like they didn't have teams in the office. That wasn't the way they were set up. And so you kind of hit this wall where you're like, I got to get the help to figure this out. Right.
Yep.
And so had you were researching multiple companies, right?
Oh yeah. At that point I needed help. I think we've already hit on it. Like when I didn't know what I was doing, I had an agent help me with this contract. I had this other person doing this over here. This was like, I needed this person to tell me how Facebook ads work. I was willing to go out and invest or figure out who was going to be the right fit for me,
Yeah.
And that's what kind of game, like, okay, let me talk to this guy. Okay, what do you do? What is it? Well, it's like, you can do this per month, or, you make these many calls. I'm like, the opposite of what I need. I need structure.
Yeah.
And someone give me the idea and go from there.
Yeah. And so how did we connected at Gen Blue, was it? Is that where we connected?
Yeah. We connected at Gen Blue in Chicago.
Gen Blue, Chicago. So I was speaking there. You came to my session on team building, I believe, right?
Yeah, and you put a sign saying that teams don't. What are they? Teams, when you have a partnerships, do not work.
Oh yeah, the worst business model known to man is a partnership. It's the only ship that won't sail, and so it's like, yeah. So it was very much about like, don't do and you were just coming out of a partnership that was like,
Yeah.
it just
yeah,
wasn't working.
No.
And you came up to me and you're like, hey, I just left the partnership. Everything you just said resonated. And so you enrolled into coaching at that point. I mean, it was like, this is what I need, because it wasn't the, smile and dial, make more calls, Kunal. How many calls you making? How many calls you making? How many, like, do you make your calls? And it's like, stop.
Yeah.
Like I've already done 40 deals this year. I don't need to make calls. Like, that's not my problem. Like, I have a problem with scaling this thing up because I'm sleeping 4 hours a night. Right.
Yep. 100% correct there.
So you come into the program and as you're doing, like, kind of coming into this stage, you've got a buyer's agent, you've got sort of like, there was no administrative help.
No,
and
I did it the opposite of what you would say to do. Right.
Yeah. And I'm curious, like, for you, as you kind of came into the program, what were some of those early things that we told you to do that at the time? Because I remember there were some things you're like, I'm kind of skeptical of that. I mean, like, I don't know if that's going to work. And it resonated from stage, but when it came time to do it for yourself, there were some things you kind of fought along the way.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely, there's a lot of things that you're kind of like, our first hire always needs to be your assistant or something like that, or an admin. I thought you needed to have a buyer's agent because, we all want, 30 cents of the other guy's money, and that's what we do. Right.
Yeah.
The worst team motto ever. And it was that was one of the things, was like, you need to have an assistant. And it was skeptical. It sounded good on stage, but hiring that person and understanding, like, what they are. I am a 99D and a 99I.
Yeah.
I have like a 12C and S. Like, you ain't getting any caring out of me, right? But I know how to control it, right? So at that point, I get on the phone with either Melissa or Ryan or you. Like, I don't know how to fix myself. But that was kind of one of the things that didn't resonate at the time, right? Now I know, hey, with Paige, I will bless her every day because she makes me look like a genius, and I'm an idiot. They always thank the woman in the background. That's all you got to worry about.
You know what? Paige is amazing. She is amazing. But you fought that because, like so many people, you viewed an admin as an expense.
Mm-hmm. True.
You're like, but it's like, I need a salesperson. And when they start selling, then I'll have the money to hire an admin, right? That's the logic, but it never works out that way.
No,
because if, it's the old saying, if you don't have an admin, guess who the admin is? Kunal Patel.
I hear it's going to be great.
Yeah, it's good. And so you were basically the admin. You were having to manage your buyer's agent. You were having to make sure everything's being done correctly. You've got all these, and you're doing your own deals, and you've still got a full-time job.
Yeah. I forgot about that, didn't we?
And we'll get to that story in just a second, but you still had a full-time job, and you're like, you fought hiring an admin for a while. And then all of a sudden it was Paige. Like, Paige has been with you since the start, hasn't she?
No, Kayla was there first.
Oh, Kayla was there first.
Then it was Kayla, then Paige.
That's right. So you brought somebody else on, and it helped. It made it better. Like, it got things done, and you started to realize, okay, cool. This is the right hire. I need to have this person in place. Yep. I need to have him. And then you get Paige, and Paige is amazing. And so the second piece of advice that I love to talk about that you ignored is about leaving your job, right?
Yeah.
So because you remember the conversation at the end of your first year, like, you do 50 deals, and you come up and you're like, Coach, should I quit my job? Yes, Kunal, you should quit your job. And you're like, all right, I'm going to quit my job. And so I'm like, okay, cool. Kunal quit his job. So you go year 2, right?
Yeah.
And do you remember what you did in year 2? Was it 76?
I think it was 76.
76.
76. I think it was like 100. Yeah.
76 sides in year 2, right?
Yeah.
And we get to the end of the year. I'm like, aren't you glad you quit your job? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And you're like, so about that, Coach, I didn't quit my job. I thought you were joking. I was like, no, you quit. Like, no, that's funny. And you're like, no, seriously, I didn't quit my job. So you went through year 2 doing 76 sides. You still had a full-time job.
Yeah.
And so you're like, but do you think I should quit? And I was like, yes, I think you should quit, Kunal. Like, you absolutely should quit. And you're like, okay, I'm going to quit my job. And so we get to the end of year 3, right? And you do 98. Because you missed 100 by like, what was it? 2 deals?
Oh, that's what it is. 2. I've never hit my number.
But
I've always hit the sales number. I've never hit the family's number is what we'll say.
Yeah, the family's number. Yeah, but you always hit your volume. You always hit the other stuff. But you set aggressive goals for yourself, which I love. Mm-hmm. So you had a goal of 100. You end at 98, and I'm like, dude, that's okay. You were off by 2. You hit your income numbers. You hit your volume numbers. Like, that's awesome. Yeah, 2 families. But we'll get them next time. And but look how many more people you were able to serve because you didn't have a full-time job.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're like, you're like, so about that, you still had your full-time job.
Yeah, it was good.
You were building your team with your full-time job. And so at the end of year 3, do you remember how many people you had on your team?
I think at the end of year 3, we had 5.
You had 5.
Think at that point we were doing pretty well. We were still lean.
Yeah. So think about this, guys. He's got a full-time job, 3 years into the business, doing 98 deals with a 5-person team. And you were, how many hours were you working on the business at that point?
Oh man, that's a good question.
Because you were also traveling back and forth to Washington, D.C.
Yeah. So I would have like trips back and forth, but I would tell you that I probably worked till 8 o'clock at night, right? 8 or 9. Yeah. Right. So depending on what, like leave at 4 or whatever, but you wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, right? So you're balancing your home life, your work life, and your work life again. At some point, it's like, you stress it. What's your why? Why am I doing this? Like, what is the point of this? Yeah. So it was fun. At that point, it was
really freaking impressive. I joke about the whole, you should have quit your job 3 years earlier, but ultimately you get to the end of year 3. And what's cool about this, and here's what I love is, and here's really what happened. So Kunal goes, so should I quit? And I was like, all right, so here's the deal. You've asked me that 3 times already and you've ignored me every single time. So here's what's going to happen. I was like, Kunal, you have until June 30th. Do you remember this?
Yeah.
I was like, you have until June 30th. And I guarantee this is what so many people are going to comment on. They'll be like, that's racist. Because whatever. So suck it up, Buttercup. Because here's what I said. I was like, so we're sitting there talking. This is the relationship we have. So we're sitting there. I was like, okay, Kunal, you have till June 30th. I will give you till June 30th to quit your job. Like make all the, or no, here's what I said. I'm like, for crying out loud, why have you not quit? Like what on earth is keeping you there? And he goes, the health insurance. I'm like, you make plenty of money. What on earth is going on that you can't afford health insurance? Like you can buy, you're a single guy. You don't have kids. You don't like your health insurance is nothing. Like you buy your own freaking health insurance. And so I said, okay, you have till June 30th to quit. If you aren't quit, like if you have not quit on June 30th, I am literally going to call the Air Force and tell them you've been selling secrets to Al Qaeda.
True story.
And what did you tell me? You're like, I'm in you.
Yeah, right. Like it's the worst thing you possibly do.
You're like, I'm Indian. I'm not, Arab. I'm not Muslim. I'm like, they don't know the difference. You're a dark guy with a beard. They're going to they can't pronounce your name. You're a dark guy with a beard. By the time they figure it out, you will have been fired anyway. So my mission will have been accomplished and you're going to be full-time in the business. You have till June 30th. What day did you quit?
I think it was like June. I think it was June 30th. I think it was June 30th or June 15th or whatever it was.
You literally waited till the day of. You waited till the day of. June 30th, you quit your job. And then the next day you go into the office or the next Monday or whatever it was, you go into the office, which is like your first time practically in the office.
On a Monday. They're not
on a Monday. So you go into the office and what happens?
I didn't know what to do. I went to the gym twice. That's probably, I think I texted you and I texted a buddy. I'm like, so what do realtors do full time? Like, what do you do during the
You're
day?
like,
Like, is there
dude,
something that
I'm so
like
bored.
I killed Candy Crush. Like, I'm like asking for lives. Like, hey, someone give me a live. Like, what do I do here? But it was because the processes were in place, right? And it
That's the
is
thing.
weird because I gave me more time for me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but it was probably the most terrible time ever. I'm like, I guess I need to go to the gym again. I don't know.
Your team was literally kicking you out of the office. They're like, Kunal, leave us alone. We know how to run this business. We've been doing this without you practically for the last 3 years. Like, go away. They would literally kick you out of the office.
That is 100% true.
Yeah.
I was asked to leave.
and your exact text to me was, you're like, dude, first day in the office. I'm like, man, how's it going? Congratulations. Super excited for you. And you're like, so bored. What the hell do agents do all day? That's literally what you texted me. You're like, what the hell do agents do all day? And because you're like, I feel like I'm supposed to like grab files and walk around and look busy. Like I literally, you did not know what to do because the systems when they're in place. And this is what's so cool. Like, I would never recommend that somebody go 3 years and do what Kunal did and not quit your job and build a team. But by being forced into building a team because of your situation, you couldn't micromanage it.
No.
You had to structure, you had to build it. And that's what you and Ryan, our coach, worked so hard on, is putting the structure and the systems in place that allowed you to not have to micromanage this team.
Yep. And that is 100% true. It was, it's just funny because anyone, if I set an interview or someone wants to like do something, to work with us, and Paige will tell you like her favorite was, her interview when we hired her. Kayla wanted to do sales, so she got into a different sales gig, and she is still my little sister. She gets married next week. I'll be at her wedding.
Oh, that's awesome.
Even though she was my old assistant, right? So we still get drinks together. We're still best friends. She knows exactly what's going through my mind. Paige is the same way. It's funny because now Paige will text Kayla like, I don't know what he wanted on that one, but now they don't even talk. Like, now they talk to each other as best friends, just cracking on me. But when I interviewed Paige, it was the first 15-minute interview. It was 10 minutes on the phone of that talk, and then 5 minutes of her questioning. Second interview is at Starbucks, 30 minutes. Yeah, I have about 20 minutes to talk, and you have about 10 minutes. If you show up late, she showed up late, and all I saw on her face was just this white. And she had no clue what the rules of the of the interview was. She goes, "I'm just scared parking downtown. I don't know. It's not what I'm used to. I'm just apologizing." And I'm like, all right, then. I was like, all right, that's not going to work. And then the third interview was at dinner. I met her husband. Kent is probably one of my good, dear friends. And, that's how our team is. And that's how every interview has ever went. That's how every person is. We do those 3 steps, and it's been like money. Yeah. It's clockwork all the time.
And that's the thing is like, we changed the way you hired. We changed the way you identify talent. You brought it on and you've implemented. That's the one thing that I love about you, Kunal, is you implement. You're like, all right, cool. Just point me in the direction and you do it. Mm-hmm. You just implement. And so now I kind of want to like fast forward to today. So where like you've had a phenomenal year.
I've been pretty blessed. I will say that. Yeah. It's been great in Dayton.
Yeah. But you've worked your butt off to get here. So you're on pace. So this is your 5th, by the time it's done, it'll be 6 year in business. So what are you on pace to do this year?
40 million.
40 million, which is how many families?
That would be, it's supposed to be 200. I think it's going to be about 160.
But that's really awesome. Like you've got 160 families that you're helping. And here's what I love about Kunal, because you can see his heart. Like he jokes about the fact that he's a low S on a disc profile. But the true thing about Kunal is he loves his clients. Like he's in this, he's so purpose driven. He's so mission driven. He's so much about the families and the clients and the experience and your team. I mean, you're so generous with your team. You've got a great culture. You've got great people. They're fun. I love hanging out with them. I love seeing them. And every time I'm like, man, he's got such an awesome, awesome culture. But it starts with you, and it starts with the heart that you have for your clients. And that really, in a way, started when you were doing military, because you started those early clients. So many of them were military families because of your work with the Air Force.
Yep.
and you knew what they went through. You knew the challenges they had, and you were just all in on them.
Yeah, no, and that's true, right? Your culture and what you build, and it's kind of, at that point you go through the coaching, and obviously I've had low turnover in the grand scheme of things. You think 6 years, I've only had 3 changes. They always say that your people will stay as long as you take care of them, and it doesn't have to be splits. We could, that's a whole nother conversation. It's just how you treat them, how you treat your people, how you treat your clients. We do online lead gen, we do all those other things, but a lot of our client base does come from referrals. It comes from the client appreciation events. It comes from a white van with candy on the side. Who knows, right? So
I can't post that photo. I can't post that photo on this, which
that'd be great.
It would be great. So it's an inside joke that I joke about Kunal, and this is because one of your strategies was like kids and moms, right? So you started joining mom groups, on Facebook, right?
Yep, and I'll dive in, but it was more of letting tell the parents hey, you want your kid to be on our ad? Let's do this. And then it's once that ad starts rolling, it's that's my kid, that's my moving truck, that's my name. You're gonna be telling all your friends that your kid's on my ad. It worked out great. So impressed with that for a while.
And so what would happen is moms would be reaching out going, hey, can my kid get one of your ads? Can my kid get one of your ads? And so I'm like, you're lurking in mom groups on Facebook using I'm like, this is mildly creepy. The next thing that you're going to do is you're going to have a van on the side that just says free candy scrawled into the side. It's borderline. I wouldn't advertise the fact that you're a single dude hanging out in mom groups, scouting for kids for ads. It's just the whole combination doesn't when you look at it like that, you're it doesn't really I don't know. I think you're going the wrong direction with this.
True story. I agree with that.
But it's worked, and you're fun, and that's what's cool about what you do is you bring your personality, you bring you desire to have fun in this business. That's the one thing that so many people and you got into the office and you avoided so much of that office culture for so long that you got into the office and you're let's have some fun. You just wanted this to be fun for your team, for your clients, for everybody.
Yeah, no. And that culture, if you come in, my team has gotten on me. There's days that I come in, hangry or upset or whatever. And it's when I come off negative, the whole team comes off negative, which comes off negative to the clients. And that's unacceptable in all purposes for me. And that's what we want. We want a culture of growth. We want everyone to strive to do better. And give to the community that gives back to us, right? We would be blessed if they wouldn't, hire someone else. So,
and you do a lot. You do a ton in the community. I mean, you give tremendously to the community. You're active in community events, and my favorite is the puppy kissing booth.
Yep. Hey, you can't go wrong.
You got to talk about the puppy kissing booth.
So we partner with a nonprofit and no kill shelter, and we every year their lift your leg event, Six that has it, and they basically we sponsor a puppy kissing booth. You get $1, you get a puppy kiss, right? And it's just awesome because you get all the kids in there, and it's more ad space, it's more stuff that you could have film data. But it's great because it goes back to the community. Everyone remembers that guy that had that sign at that kissing booth, or hopefully no one ever tried to kiss me, so it worked out great, right?
Well, there's a reason they're we need the puppies.
You're right.
Get the puppies. Don't let Kunal in the kissing booth.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure, he's over with the white van.
Yeah, he's at the free candy van. There's the puppy kissing booth and the free candy van. I don't know. Take your pick. There's a reason the curtains are drawn on that thing.
True story.
So let me ask you, because as you've built your business, I mean, it's not just been about the money. It's it truly is about the impact that you're able to have, but you've continued to build your business to support your life. I mean, you travel, you take time off. How many nights and weekends do you work?
As I tell my agents, you get me Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to about 3 p.m. on Friday.
Yeah.
After that, I'm sure you guys will figure it out. You can call me, you can text me. You will not see me in an appointment. You won't set the appointment. because I give everything I have during the week, right? We work
Yep.
a job that we work around other people's hours, but they also believe that, you're important too, right? So
Yep.
they get that, maybe it's time for you to take a early lunch, or get out of the office early, meet us then. So I have a normal schedule.
Yeah.
I love it, right? And that normal schedule allows me to hit up past clients for dinner or go do stuff like that. And they're not clients, they're families, but they're also buddies, right?
Yep.
So it's like,
Yep.
hey, how's the kids? I'm gonna come over, we'll cook out, we'll have some bourbon, and then we'll roll, And
Yeah.
that's
And
what
then
it is.
do you drop referral bombs at the end? Like, oh, by the way, send me your referrals. No,
that's not me. It doesn't come naturally.
Because you're having a real human connection with people. Like, that's what people don't realize. They just want a human connection.
Yep. And I feel like once you have that human connection, I mean, Travis, you know this, we were 5 years ago, when I first started, 5 years in coaching. So 5 years ago, we started giving Nest thermostats to all of our clients. Essentially, is what they get a pick. So we just say, like, we try to make every home a smart home.
Yep.
And now you see the Amazon connection of, we're giving. I'm like, dude, I've been doing this for 5 years. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, where have you guys been?
Right. But then that's what kind of always tell everyone. It's like, a lot of people say their closing gift is like this blanket that says home or established in 2017. And we just put like Nest thermostat hanging on the wall. That Nest thermostat sends an email every month on how their house went for someone else's. That gift actually repays itself for the next 10 years every time someone sees that on the wall, or they have the housewarming and their buddies come up there. So that's what does it, right? It's not the corny, like, hey, do this or do that type of
wine glasses with Kunal Patel engraved on them.
Oh yeah, no, but I do have beer koozies.
Oh yeah,
we give those to all of our clients.
I mean, you're in Ohio, like it's the state pastime is drinking beer, so you got to have koozies. I mean, let's be honest, you can never have too many koozies in Ohio.
That is so true. I have one in my back pocket. There's probably one in this office somewhere.
Yeah, that's how you keep your butt from hurting when you're sitting. Like, you just sit on a koozie, like stick them in your back pocket.
I have to have something to sit on when I have nothing to do all day.
Exactly. Except play Candy Crush or whatever your game of choice is today. So let me ask you, Kunal, because obviously, there are people who are watching this right now, some who are brand new agents, some who are getting ready to build a team, some who have a team and they're like, how on earth is he doing this? Like, and maybe they've looked into other programs. Maybe they've been a part of other programs and they're just wondering, like, is this really real? I mean, what advice would you give to somebody who's on the fence about reaching out to us, about scheduling a call, about talking to somebody on our team? What advice would you give to them?
There's some like 100 things, right? At that point, it's like, just call me, I'll tell you. But like the big thing that I will say, what you guys have done for me was more of the platforms. How do I do this, right? I've already, 30 minutes ago, I don't know how long we've been doing this right now, but we talked about not knowing the answers, right? I don't know all the answers. I don't know the right way of doing everything. And hiring was a big step, right? Like, I knew, I run a successful freaking team. I'm blessed that this thing can just run without me being around. Like, I can just disappear and it still goes, right? The thing about it is that you guys taught me what a value proposition was, right? With an admin, with a creative director, a marketing director, that's why these other three want to stay part of this team, right? I don't need a team of 30 with no admin, because then you're just given, whatever. It was support. Your program gave me that ability, and it also gave me the ability to reach out to others. I mean, again, I'm in the Midwest. It's not like real estate is on the cutting edge here. It's not at all, right? I get more coming out, hanging out with you at Inman, or hanging out with whatever, our things that we do when you're coaching experiences. I get more there. I talk to more agents there. Like, my favorite thing is we do a coffee giveaway on our Facebook page, and it's literally I think you've seen it before.
Yeah.
It's like you go to Starbucks and you just swipe the Facebook picture and you get free coffee. Yeah. That's what does it for me. It was, you guys gave me it as platform to reach out to other agents. I mean, our first time home buyer event, you gave me that platform, like, hey, set this up this way, do this. And it made my life easier. I'm not going to reinvent the wheel, right?
No.
And that's where I think a lot of, and again, the one thing is like, we talk about putting like gasoline in a car, investing in yourself. If you're not going to invest in yourself, why are you even doing this?
Oof. Yeah.
Right. Like at that point, like I get it. I think my favorite, everyone still asks me like, so why do you have a coach? I'm like, well you don't? And it's like, well, I don't have anyone to keep me accountable. Right.
Yeah.
Who's going to keep me accountable? Right.
Yeah.
I know when I talked to Ryan this morning, it was like, okay, what's the game plan? I was like, this is where we left off. He tells me where I left off. I'm like, this is what our game plan is next. Heck, I went from a solo agent to running a team to understanding ancillary to understanding what brokerages are, what understanding wealth is. I mean, all that grew from this. No one in your office is going to tell you how to open up a brokerage.
No.
Right.
And you've got, speaking of ancillary, I mean, you've built ancillary businesses from this. You've found investment opportunities through this. And you've gotten extremely creative with everything. You think so far outside the box because you don't think like a realtor.
No, and that's the other thing. It's probably the other that we didn't touch on it, but you're not a realtor.
No,
that you're not telling me how to like make client gifts or doing pop buys or any like. You're not a realtor, right? This isn't you. Like, so it's someone that taught me the business mindset of it, and that's what the program allowed me to do. It's like, okay, treat real estate like a business. Treat it like a job, 8 to 5. This is what you're gonna do at 8 o'clock. You're gonna do this. You're gonna hit someone with bomb videos. You're gonna do that. I was able to learn, and one of the cool things about you and our program and what you do is that you've never said, go buy this CRM, go buy this, platform. And a lot of I've learned, and a lot of people that I meet, my colleagues now say, well, this guy says I need to buy these gift cards or these mailers. And it's like, dude, no, if it's not natural for you, why are you doing it?
Yep.
Is it because someone gets paid a little bit? That's different. And you've never put me in that situation.
Nope.
You've always said, hey, these are 3 things that I would look into, see if it works. And I look at the 3, make my best decision. Sometimes it's none of them, right?
Yeah.
But it was just to have that conversation with someone, talk me through it and get me through to that. That part.
Yeah. And so if somebody's wondering like, hey, is this going to work for me? Is this going to, should I get on the phone with them? Is it just going to be this hard close, like beat them into submission sort of experience? Is that what your experience was?
No, I can't remember. Like it's been fun. Yeah. Right. It's been that accountability coach. It's been that, and it's never been, hey, this, you're going to do this hard close. You're going to do this. No, It's never been that way. It's been chill. Travis, you'll never say it, but it's like when you're at an event, and my favorite is that like, I don't know many people, or I didn't know many people. Now I know a bunch of people when I go to different places outside of just Dayton, and I have the opportunity to talk to others. And it's like, you've always been a welcoming friend, a friend that would say, hey, Kunal, I don't know how you remember everyone's name. I don't. I call everyone friend and buddy. So, but it's like you would still allow someone to still talk to them. You know what I mean? So it's that hard sell is not what the program is, in my personal opinion. And that's what I've had.
No. And guys, here's the deal. If you're on the fence, if you're wondering like, hey, can this work for me? I don't know. I need help. I need the accountability. I need the systems. I need the process. I need somebody to just give me the freaking game plan. Why go reinvent the wheel? Why try and start from scratch? Great. And the truth is, we can shortcut your growth curve so much. We can who cares if you get help? Who cares if you get your outcome faster? That's what you really want. You want more money. You want more time. You want more freedom. You want to love your freaking business. So let us help you do that. That's what we're very freaking good at. And if you want to talk to somebody on my team, go to travisrobertson.com/call. And we're going to talk with you for about 60 minutes. We're going to take a look at where your business is at. We're going to identify what's working, what's not working, and we'll take a look at where you're headed. And then we're going to work with you to figure out the game plan to get you there. And if we can help you, we'll tell you that. But if we can't, we're actually one of the only companies, if not the only company in this industry, that literally will tell you go somewhere else if we can't help you, because we are not for everybody. And we understand that. And not everybody's a fit for what we do. And that's cool too. And so either way, we're going to steer you in the right direction so you get the help you need and you know what your next action steps are in your business to close that gap between where you are and where you want to be. So if you haven't booked a call yet, or even if you have booked a call with my team, but you want to find out what's going on and what's different and what's new about what we're doing, go to travisrobertson.com/call. Trust me, it'll be the best 60 minutes you may have invested on your business this year, because it's a life changer. And Kunal, it's just been so fun to connect with you here. And I really just so appreciate your insights and your wisdom and just your willingness to share your story.
Yeah. No worries. You gave me a platform, the ability to do it. And it's always fun just chatting away and thinking about what we can do next.
So if somebody wants to get a hold of you, Kunal, how do they get a hold of you? How do they find you? How do they connect with you?
Really, it's you can always get us through Facebook Messenger. You can always get me through Facebook, or you can get me through, don't go through Instagram. I'm terrible at that. But you always just shoot me a text. All of our information is on our websites, and and it's my direct cell phone number, so you can get me right then.
So what's your website?
It's www.kunal, Kunal Patel, Patel Group, group.com.
So kunalpatelgroup.com, kunalpatelgroup.com. And if you've got referrals for Dayton, Ohio, there's nobody better than this man right here. Nobody that you want your clients working with more than this guy. So Kunal, again, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been absolutely fantastic and fun, as always.
Likewise.
And
brother.
by the way, if you want to see Kunal, if you want to get to know Kunal and you're in our coaching program, we've got our member retreat coming up in January, and Kunal's going to be there, and he's going to we're going to be hanging out. We're going to be having a great time. So if you're in our program, you definitely want to be here just to meet this guy. I mean, plus all the other kick-ass members that we have, because we really have the best members in this industry. I mean, it's so fun. So Kunal,
it's a heck
thank
of a
you.
Mastermind.
It is. It's going to be an amazing event.
Yep.
So thank you, brother. I appreciate it. And kunalpatelgroup.com for him, travisrobertson.com/call. Book your breakthrough session right now. Don't wait. Let's get your 2019 finish strong, your 2020 kicking ass, taking names, new decade starting, guys. Don't finish this one weak and don't start the next one weak. Let's just get this going so you get where you want faster than you ever thought possible. We can help you do it. travisrobertson.com/call. Kunal, thank you, man. Thank you, brother.
Thanks, sir. Be good, guys.
Awesome. Fantastic.
Awesome. I had to steal that line.
Which one?
Don't finish this decade weak.
Yeah.
We've been, and this side note, because I know you got much